My mom refuses to help me, so I'm refusing access to her grandson. I know I sound like a monster, but let's start at the beginning so you can understand. My husband and I, 32 female, are first-time parents to an 8-month-old son, Jack. I've struggled since he was born. I had a difficult pregnancy. My son had colic and my maternity leave was short. I was diagnosed with PPD and I'm getting treatment. My husband and I both have demanding jobs. I'd love to quit, but we can't afford it right now. I don't have many friends in the state where I live, and I'm lonely. My mother-in-law is in poor health, and my husband is gone 2 times per week helping her. I haven't had a day or evening off since Jack was born. Plus, our home was flooded by a broken pipe 5 months ago. Handling the cleanup has been a nightmare. My mom, 67, lives 1 hour away and has never once offered to help with anything. We've always had a pretty good relationship. She was a stay-at-home mom and was very loving and devoting to brother, sister, and me. She's an empty nester and spends her days doing yoga and seeing friends. My mom wants to see the baby if it's very low effort. I asked her a few times if she could babysit or run an errand, but she always says no. Once I caught her at the height of my PPD sobbing, saying I was scared to be alone and could she come over. But she had a brunch planned. I stopped asking for anything until today. My best friend of 25 plus years is getting married next weekend in State B, which is 2 hours away by plane. I'm the maid of honor and my husband is officiating. Children are not invited because the venue is unsafe. About 7 months ago, we started looking for someone to watch Jack. We called everyone we could think of. After a month of searching, we finally found a babysitter in State B through a friend of a friend. Well, the babysitter called on Friday and canceled. I've spent the past 3 days calling childcare agencies with zero luck. I finally explained my desperation to my mother and asked if she could watch Jack just for a day. Or I offered to fly my mom to State B with us, get her a hotel room, and she'd then only need to watch him for 5 hours. I was in tears begging her, but my mom said no. She has a yoga class she does not want to cancel. It was the straw that broke the camel's back after months of no empathy as I flounder with PPD. I told my mom that since she's never willing to help ever, I'll be cutting off all contact and she won't get to see her grandson. I know my mom's under no obligation to help us, but then should not expect to see my son. Am I the a-hole for denying my mother a relationship with her grandson because she never offers help? Okay, so I want to know your opinions on this. Do you think the mother was in the wrong here, or do you not? Here's a comment. Your mother has chosen to opt out of all that by declining to help you when you needed it. She does not have to be in that cycle of help and love and support if she'd rather go to yoga, but she does not get to cherry-pick the easy bits of loving family relationships and ignore the bits that take some work. You're both entitled to set down the terms of your relationship she has. Now, it's your turn. I'm sorry this is painful, and I hope you get effective help with the PPD, not the a-hole. Guys, if you had any similar feelings or completely different feelings, that's cool. Just drop them in the comment section and let's talk about it. We have one final story on the video, and this one comes complete with an update, and let me just say, this one's gonna blow your socks off. My 32-year-old female husband, 36 male, became a robot, and I don't know how to help him. We've been married for 6 years and have 2 kids. I'm pregnant with a 3rd. My husband works 9 to 5, comes home, does his chores, plays with our 2 kids, talks to me for a little bit, then goes to sleep. But he doesn't seem to enjoy doing any of it. Like, this whole thing is just one big chore. He used to be this big old goofy guy who smiled and told jokes all the time. but I haven't seen that man smile in months. It's not like he's neglecting his duties as a husband and a father, but he just acts like it's just that, duties. Like hanging out with the kids and me is just a second job. I'm grateful for all he does, and he makes all of our lives so much easier, but it's like he's constantly on the clock. I think he might be depressed. I tried asking him if he was doing okay, and he tells me he's doing fantastic. But I know he's not. That's the line he uses at work when customers try to make small talk and ask how he's doing. He doesn't take any time for himself, he doesn't take any breaks, he stopped playing video games, stopped watching television. He just does what I feel he thinks needs to be done. And I don't know how to help him out. Our sex life has become one-sided. We do it frequently, but only because I initiate. Even if he doesn't seem in the mood, he'll do it. Like it's his responsibility to make me happy. It feels like he isn't there in the moment. Like his mind is wandering the whole time we're intimate. And that, to me, feels worse than getting rejected. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know how to help because he won't let me. To anybody else, he seems fine, but I know something's wrong and I don't know how to fix it. I miss my husband, the guy who complained and told jokes. Not this robotic shell that looks like him. Here's an edit. Alright, wow, I did not expect this to blow up. I want to thank you for your advice and I really appreciate it. It's clear to me now that my husband's overworked and burnt out. He comes from work in a couple hours and I'm going to sit him down and talk to him. I'm going to tell him how I feel. And I hope that together we can find a solution that turns him back into the man he once was. Hey everybody, here's the update. I wrote this a couple days ago but could not post it because it's too soon. My husband came home at around 6 o'clock, and after he had something to eat, I took him to the bedroom to chat. I sat him down on the bed and told him I was worried about him. I did not know exactly how to phrase my worries, so I just showed him the post. When he finished reading the post, he started crying, like a full-on cry. In all the years that I've known this man, I've never seen a tear roll down his eye. I held him for a few minutes until he could recompose himself, and he told me everything. He told me that the world was in a shitty place right now, and that we're bringing a child into this stressful time. He said when I became pregnant, he felt as if he had to step up. He needed to take care of things because, well, it's his responsibility. He said that the weight of carrying the family was so much harder than he anticipated, so he thought if he, quote, doubled down, he could get through it. But the more he tried, the, quote, darker the tunnel got, and eventually he could not see an end. He said that he feels like, quote, he's constantly drowning and the only breath of fresh air is on the car ride between home and work. He said that sometimes the stress is so much that he throws up, but doesn't tell anyone and instead just keeps about his day. He then pulled out a pack of gum from his pocket and said, quote, "This was for when it happens." I asked him why he could not tell me any of this, and he says he did not want to, quote, burden me with the truth. He said that he thought if he told me everything, that I would stop seeing him as a protector and a provider, and that I would inevitably stop loving him. Hearing him say that brought tears to my eyes because I don't know where he got that notion I would feel that way. I asked him if he wanted to quit his job, but surprisingly, he said the job doesn't bother him. He said the work in itself was fine, it's just now he feels an added weight to provide because not only was he fortunate enough to keep his job in the pandemic, but we also had a kid on the way. He said that some days he feels like packing a suitcase and running to some tropical island for a week and not telling a soul. But then he feels guilty and doubles down even more. I told him maybe he should go on a trip. I said he deserves a break, and maybe if he did exactly that, he would feel better. He tried to protest, but I insisted. In the end, said that he'll only go if we go together, like a romantic getaway between spouses. One thing starts to clear up, and before the babies do, he wants to take a week off work, drop the kids off at Grandma's house, and have us go on a little vacation. Just the two of us, like we used to do when we first got married. He also said he wants to take the day off tomorrow and just sleep in. So that's the game plan. I'll call his boss tomorrow and say that he's sick and can't come in. It's not like they'll make a sick man come into work. There's a pandemic going around. Right now, he's playing with the kids, and it doesn't feel like he's doing one of his chores. He actually seems to be enjoying himself. For the first time in months, I don't see the robot. I see my husband. I'm just glad at the end of this story and the end of the update, it seems like OP's life was getting a little better and the solution or problem is kind of being fixed, and I'm just glad her significant other opened up to her. Let's read this comment. As someone who comes out of the other side of this, I think you could not have handled this better than you did. I actually felt a bit of emotional reading this, so well done. I think a break from work is a big one, and it's very hard to work out whether the stress coming from the job is simply he's working too much or that the specific company is burdening him. So maybe it is his work, maybe it's something to do with his life, who knows? All I know is I wish the best for them. Let me know your comments down below, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love making these videos for you, and actually, we're here every single day. Here on Mr. Reddito, we try to drop at least 3 videos across both channels, Mr. Reddito Animated and Mr. Reddito Stories. So check those out, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.